Go live and it's not clicking.
Hang on.
Welcome to the Killer Author Club. And we are live. Jamie's going to be live with other things soon, but you just carry on, Jamie, and I'll talk to you. So welcome to the Killer Author Club, you guys. Your favorite haunt for all things murder, mystery, and mayhem. Tonight, the one and only Jaime Lynn Hendricks is in the hot seat. Streaming to her Instagram. She'll be answering all of your burning questions about their double lives. So grab your list of questions, your poison, a cocktail, or a mocktail, and get ready to kill the lights.
Welcome to the Killer Author Club. 3 best-selling authors talking about killing, of the fictional kind, with the best thriller and suspense authors in the business. Killer conversations, killer cocktails, and killer guests with your hosts, Kimberly Bell, Heather Gutenkopf, and Kara Ruda. This is the Killer Author Club.
Welcome everybody. Welcome to all our new witnesses and our original killers alike. Whether you're watching live, catching the replay, or listening to the Killer Podcast, we're so glad you're here. I'm Killer Kara Ruda.
I'm Killer Heather Gutenkopf.
And I'm Killer Kimberly Bell.
And before we dive into all the dark twists and turns of their double lives, a couple quick announcements. If you love tonight's show and want more, check out the Killer Postmortem, the podcast exclusive after show where every guest confesses something deadly. Tonight's show will be available on your favorite podcasting app starting this Friday. Links to download are at killerauthorclub.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for our newsletter so you never miss our killer breaking news. And speaking of which, breaking news.
Oh,
that's me. Do you want all 3 killer hosts and upcoming thrillers signed, sealed, delivered with exclusive swag?
Then sign up for the Killer Author Club book box, curated with care, packed with blood-curdling goodies, and offered in partnership with the fabulous Swamp Fox bookstore in Marion, Ohio. Iowa. Oh my God.
It's just a tongue twister of a night, people. Okay, the description box includes all 3 of our 2025 releases: The Expat Affair on June 3rd, Jill Is Not Happy on June 10th, and The Perfect Host in early November. All 3 books come with Killer Author Club and book theme swag.
So subscribe now at killerauthorclub.com or via our partner, Swamp Fox Bookstores. Links coming up in the comments, so watch for those while we welcome tonight's guest. So, Jaime Lynn Hendricks is the author of 5 twisty, edge-of-your-seat popcorn thrillers with morally gray characters. Her books have been featured in the New York Times, Washington Post, and People magazine, among others. And her 3rd novel, I Didn't Do It, received a starred review from Kirkus. That's not easy to do, by the way. Yeah. Congrats. Her work is published globally with translations in French, German, Russian, Hebrew, and Korean, and can also be found in the UK and Australia. Congrats, Jaime Lynn, and welcome to the Killer Author Club hot seat.
Thank you. Don't kill me.
Well, we have so many questions for you about their double lives, but can you start with telling us just a quick elevator speech about the book?
Yes, this book is for the dog lovers. There is a waitress at a posh country club, and her life is in shambles. Her boyfriend cheated on her. She has no money, and her dog gets sick, and she decides that she needs to do something to save him, and she has no money. So she's approached by somebody who just calls themselves the Stranger, and the Stranger says there's a new member coming to the club on Friday night, and all you have to do is put a pill into his drink. And when he dies, you will have enough money to fix your life and your dog. So she goes to do it. And when the guy walks in, it's her ex-boyfriend from 15 years ago. She hadn't seen him in 15 years. And he's got a new fiance, 22 years old, on his arm. And she decides she can't go through with it. So she starts freaking out about what to do. And then his fiance drops dead at the end of the night. So she starts thinking, what's going on? Why was he targeted? Why was she targeted? Is somebody else Did the stranger contact somebody else to kill his fiance? What's going to happen to me since I didn't do it? And then she spirals down and she finds out what's really going on behind closed doors and finds out that everyone is living a double life.
So good.
Wow. Nice wrap up. I love that.
Everything for the dogs.
Everything for
Exactly. Got to do it for the puppies.
Yes. Well, we
And
love.
by the way, and I have to say before anybody says anything, no dogs were harmed in the making of this book. I promise you, I do not kill animals in my books. So
No.
So we loved it. So readers, get chatty and start dropping your questions in the comments for us to ask Killer Jamie. But first, what are we drinking, Kimberly?
That's right. Killer Jamie has chosen the Sunset of Fire as her killer cocktail tonight. Why this particular poison of choice?
Well, it's funny that you called it that. We left out one key ingredient. It was a drink that was actually used in the book. So I made it up. It was just something that I knew would be sweet tasting and kind of frothy and, hide anything that needed to be added as an ingredient that maybe was not in particular put in there. So it was just a good way to, a lot of sweet stuff in there to hide anything bitter or anything else that was going to be in the drink.
I love it.
Perfect, Scott.
Well, cheers, everyone.
Yeah.
Cheers.
I'm boring today. I just have vodka soda. I couldn't source my coconut. I couldn't source my coconut, my can of coconut stuff because I wanted the thick, frothy one instead of just the coconut milk. I wanted the really thick one that comes from the can.
Ooh, sounds really good.
Well, that's right. You still have something to cheers with, so that's all that matters. So there you go.
Right.
We created the Killer Author Club so readers could get up close and personal with their favorite thriller writers. This season's lineup is stacked with killers. Peter Swanson, Anthony Horowitz, Kimberly and Watt, with two very special and secret guest co-hosts, and Killer Heather, plus so many more. For dates, times, past episodes, etc., surf to killerauthorclub.com. But tonight, it's all about their double lives. Hendricks is a queen of wickedly fun thrillers. This page turner will have readers up way past their bedtimes to see just how wildly twisted things will get. And that's from Heather Levy, Anthony-nominated author of Walking Through Needles and Hurt for Me. Another quote, you're not quite sure who's playing who in this deliciously caustic cat and mouse thriller. With their double lives, Jaime Lynn Hendricks expertly doles out reveal after reveal, treating readers to a twisty, layered, and emotionally resonant whodunit. And that's from Elizabeth Colla Keenan and Greg Wines of Trust Issues. So
Killers, both of them.
So good. We loved it. I really loved it. So clearly, Jamie, you are a wickedly entertaining killer. And now we need to know your answer to the killer question. How do you kill?
I kill secretly. Do you need me to elaborate?
Yes, please. We like to talk about killing.
Okay. I kill in my books secretly. I will share with the entire world. I am planning to kill my husband if he snores anymore. I do. We actually have this fun running joke that I keep on telling him, I'm going to kill you if you keep on snoring. I'm going to smother you with a pillow. And he says, just make it fast. So one day he was just snoring really, really loud. And I put the pillow over his face and I jumped on top of him and I was holding it on both sides. And I was like, do you like that? And he just starts going like, he's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm like, stop resisting. You said to make it fast.
Okay, that's really dark. I love it.
Okay.
So sneaky and in the middle of the night.
Maybe if he dies by smothering, maybe I will be under suspicion. If he dies any other way, I swear I didn't do it. I swear.
Okay. All right. So we'll come after you if it's a smothering death, which I think is really hard to do. I think it takes a really long time.
I know.
Yeah. Of course you already knew that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so their double lives is packed with secrets, hidden motives, and deadly twists. So what drew you to the idea of women leading dangerous double lives? And did you always know how deep their deceptions would go when you were writing the book?
I like the idea of duplicity. So I like the idea of like double lives. That's I think a hallmark of thrillers. Like there's always somebody who they're not who they're supposed to be. And there's always people who come out of the woodwork later who are supposed to be dead. And, I love that. I love playing with it. I don't like my thrillers too like deep. I like them kind of surface level entertainment. Which is what like all of you guys, right? I love it. I love like entertainment value. For like I don't want to read a thriller that's like going to win a Pulitzer. You know what I mean? I want to read one that's going to entertain the hell out of me and keep turning pages. So I like the idea of having the main character kind of having it like brought to her that everybody around her kind of is living a double life because she was just doing everything to save her dog. And, she was a waitress, like there was nothing that she was really lying about. She was just trying to get by. And it turned out everybody around her in her country club and her life ended up not being who they were. And I like that because I think it's just better entertainment when people are just pretending, because we go through so much in life that is just hard. So like pretending and just keeping it like light and fluffy, that's what I think is like drew me to the idea of doing it this way.
Mm-hmm.
It was really well done.
Yeah. And it's fun for the reader too, because they're like, who's telling the truth and who's not?
Yeah, the unreliable narrator.
Exactly. Yeah. And Kim Valva, can you tell us the story of how her name came about?
Yes, Kim Valva is she's the main character in the book. She's real. She's 100% a real person. There was one of the charity things where it was the Arthritis Foundation came to me and they asked if I would do a donation, saying that for a donation for whoever had the highest bid, that they could name it. They could be a character in my book. So she ended up getting the highest bid. And this is funny because she is in Houston, which I didn't know when she won. And when I went out to Murder by the Book, I told her I was coming out there, and she was like, "Oh my God, like let's have lunch." So I actually met her for lunch before we went to Murder by the Book, and we started talking about who I wanted her to be. And she was almost Carla. I won't give her whole name, but she was almost Carla with her full country club name. But I decided to make her the main character, and I asked her if she was okay with that because it's a whole thing, and she was thrilled. So yes, Kim Valva is real, and she is starring in this book.
How fun! I love that.
So cool. And so how did you come up with this premise? I mean, I think all of us here would do anything for our dogs, for sure. I mean, we all are dog owners and dog lovers, but what made you settle on that as the high stakes reason for Kim to think about taking somebody's life and helping in that way?
There was a specific reason, because I love like bad characters. That's my favorite thing. When somebody says, like, if I read a review on something and somebody says that all the characters are unlikable, that's why they hated it, that goes right to the top of my list. So I love unlikable characters. That's my favorite thing in thrillers. Like, I'm not reading romance. I'm not trying to see people, holding hands and having a nice day. I want to see murder. I want to see deception. I love that. But I did start to realize that in like all of my books, my characters are really, really like almost all of them all the time are morally gray and unlikable. Most of them all the time. So I thought to myself, like, how can I have a character that's likable, but could still be put in a position to do something horrible? So I started thinking about it, and I was like, okay, I would do anything for my dog. So how far would I go? I don't know. Maybe I would murder somebody. I would never tell. You'll never find out. But
Don't do it with a pillow.
Right.
Yeah, the smothering with the pillow thing. Yeah, then we'd all know.
No, but my husband wouldn't hurt the dog.
Yeah.
But I wanted to have a relatable, likable character that everybody could kind of cheer on which from like what I've read and what people are saying, like everybody kind of really got behind her because, how can you not root for somebody who is doing it for their dog?
Absolutely.
But did you get dinged for that, like the unlikable thing by your editor maybe, or reviews or something? Because, we talk about that a lot, especially female authors, like, talking about how our characters have to be, or at least some character has to be likable in a story. But I read a lot that the characters are very unlikable and they're very successful books and entertaining. And, how important is that to you? And do you get kickback from it?
Well, to me, it's not important when I'm reading. I actually prefer awful people. Reading is like escape. You're supposed to, and even I don't need to root for somebody. I don't even care if I'm just reading something and I'm waiting for them to get their comeuppance. I want to see how they're like, because they're so bad. I want to see how they're going to get screwed in the end.
Mm-hmm.
I never got pushback from my editor. I never really got pushback. I would just like read things sometimes and everybody was like, oh my God, why is everybody so hard? Everybody in this book is horrible. And I'm like, thanks.
Well, speaking of horrible,
maybe I shouldn't make everybody horrible from now on.
Well, speaking of villains, what made the stranger such a compelling villain in this book?
Because it's very cloak and dagger. You don't know. The stranger comes about on a burner phone. So you don't know if it's male, female, if it's somebody that she knows, if it's somebody who is a complete stranger. You don't know who everybody in the book is because nobody's who they say they are. So it's kind of just the way it was, so cloak and dagger.
Yeah, I love that. And I love PJ too.
So did I. I know. I loved her. I loved her.
She's so fun, and okay, she's up to no good a lot of times, but she's so endearing. I really loved that character. So, how did you come up with her?
Well, I knew because in the whole beginning, like I knew that she was gonna die at the table. So when I started writing her, it was almost tragic because I ended up liking her so much. Because that's one thing about me is I don't outline. So I kind of just went. I just kind of just went as I went, and I just started like writing her, and I made her snarky and I think she was fun. She was just like a fun person, and I hated that I ended up killing her because,
like in chapter 2 or 3, it was like the beginning of the book.
Yeah,
what a twist! Yeah,
it's very quick. So I was very upset that I ended up killing her because I did think she was endearing and she was just young and naive, and the reasons why she was doing what she was doing, valid reasons, I guess. And then she kind of got screwed over, Yeah. She did. She got screwed over in a really bad way.
Yeah.
She did.
Especially because, when she was going through with her, evil master plan, things change along the way. And
I know it was almost, anyway. Yeah. It was so good. Yeah. She's a great character and I miss her.
Can we talk about the country club setting? So it's, high society members in a posh New Jersey country club. And then we have the staff who serve them. So there's a lot of class tension going on there. Why did you choose that setting, and what makes it the perfect breeding ground for betrayal and murder?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because I actually did a crime reads article. You know how they make you do an article for Pub Day, and it was about the wealth disparity between in popcorn thrillers, like the haves and the have-nots, and why it's so compelling to readers.
Yeah.
So I just put it into a way where it's like, most people, they're called the 1% for a reason. Most people aren't going to live with yachts and, mansions and 5 homes and, 18 cars and it's just not a normal way to live. So most of the times you're like a normal person just has their face pressed against the glass, looking at how the other half lives. And that comes with its own host of problems. Everybody knows, we all read the same stuff. The rich people are always, they're bad people. They do bad things. They get in trouble. But for the normal person, I guess writing it's kind of like, it's kind of just not wishing that you were in that position, but kind of wondering if that's what it's really like in that position. So it's a very big thing in thrillers, where it's a lot of times it's like a very rich person and a very poor person who's trying to be rich, and they either it's a con game or a scam, or they're just trying to marry rich, or they're trying to steal somebody's business, and it's normally somebody who is just a normal person, and they're put in a position where they have to do something, I guess, morally gray. And it's, do they do it or do they not? And do they do it for just money? Is money that, is it that much of a hook that you would kill somebody, for money?
Well, what is it they say people kill for? Love, revenge, and money, right?
Yeah, no, I had all three of them in this one.
Yeah. There's like a lot of killing going on here, which is great. We love that.
Yeah.
We love that.
Well, let's talk about the exes. So Tony Fiore, now Anthony Fuller, is the ultimate bad boy turned billionaire. Excuse me.
No, he wasn't a billionaire.
Yeah.
He wasn't a billionaire.
Okay.
He had a lot of money.
Yeah. What do you want readers to get out of meeting Tony on the page? Do you want to root for him, suspect him, or maybe just a little bit of both?
Well, definitely, because he was another one living a double life, as they all were. Yeah, I think I want you to like him, and he was, for the most part, I think, a likable person. And then when he wasn't, he kind of had a reason. but then I Tony, here's a tough one, because I don't know if well, yeah, I'm sure you guys noticed that when PJ was talking about him, he was always Anthony, and when Kim was talking about it, he was always Tony. So he basically was two different characters in the book, even though he was the same character. Right. But like, one was thinking about him from 15 years ago when he was, a mess, and he was getting arrested all the time, and he was, just a bad boy in the neighborhood. And then when PJ has him, he's this, multimillionaire, and he's an investment guy, he's a finance bro. So I think the duality of his character was kind of interesting. So, that's a good one. I don't even know if I like him. I don't know if I'm supposed to like him or not. I think the ending was very fitting.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think those are the best kind of characters, where you have, we're reading about them and we have mixed feelings, because that's like human nature. Yeah. Not everybody's all good or all bad. And
agreed.
Yeah. Love it.
And before we wrap up, I wanted to say, because Carrie Shields is in here and she wished you happy Pug Day.
Walking Angel. Her real name is Walking Angel Carrie Shields.
We created the Hendricks Hive to support your book. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, she surprised me. I did not know that she organized this entire thing. I have breast cancer, and I was at chemo last week on Tuesday, and she checks on me all the time, and she's just a wonderful person. But she organized this group of Bookstagrammers to do this campaign for a pre-order. Everybody would pick a winner, and then they would pre-order a copy of their double life to send to somebody. And I did not know about it, and I was at chemo, and I just was bored, and I was playing with my phone, and I put on Instagram, and I just saw the book everywhere, all over the place, and everything was Hendricks Hive, and we're doing this for Jamie and everything. And I talk about Bookstagram a lot. I'm so lucky we're all so lucky to do what we do. It's a great community. Everybody's so supportive all the time. But the Bookstagram community, like I've said before, I'm I'm lucky that they feel close enough to do something like that for me on a personal level. It wasn't about authors and readers. It was about friends helping friends.
Yeah.
And that's what I have gotten out of Bookstagram more than reviews or more than, PR on my book. I have found friends there, and that's what I'm happy about.
Yeah.
And they obviously feel likewise. You should see all the comments are
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all
Everyone, I love you.
Book
As
people.
my friend Dawn, my book friend Dawn would say, if Dawn might be out there listening, but she would say, book people are the best people. And it really is true.
Absolutely.
Very true. Very true. Well, congratulations, Jamie. We are just love the book, as you know, and you're kind enough to be giving away 2 copies of the
Yes.
book as a giveaway to lucky U.S. viewers. It doesn't matter where you're watching. We scour the comments everywhere we stream, but please make sure to shout out where you're from when you answer this burning question. In their double lives, what is the name of the villainous entity who contracts with Kim to kill Tony? We dropped a few hints. So drop that in the comments.
What could it be? The Killers are big fans of independent booksellers, and we want to support the ones our killers love. Jamie has chosen Book and Bottle in St. Pete, Florida. Jamie, why do you love this bookstore so?
Well, it's my local indie. They've hosted my last 3 release parties, including tonight. I was there from 5 to 7 o'clock tonight where they did my party. They're a bookstore. They're an independent bookstore, which, we all love. They're a bookstore and they're a bar. So there's something for everybody. It's a great time.
What's not to love, right?
Exactly.
Well,
They're right in downtown St. Pete, which is a lovely area. Just everything's like walkable, and there's great restaurants and bars around there. Or you could just, go in, grab a glass of wine, read a book. It's fantastic, and the staff there is just great. Everybody's just so friendly. It's a great place to be.
Sounds like heaven. So I just dropped the link in the comments so you can order Jamie's book along with any of the others on your wish list.
Exactly. The Killers love to read, and we love it when you share what you're reading on our Facebook group. Post pictures, write reviews, ask for recommendations, and give yours. Tonight, though, we want to know what Jamie is currently reading.
I brought it with me. I am reading The Arc of the Fourth Daughter by Lynn Loud-Butler.
It's so pretty, that cover.
I know, isn't it so pretty? And it's so fitting for the book because a lot of it takes place in Taiwan, and I've never been. So I love experiencing the whole scene through this book. So, and she obviously, like, she does it very, very well. And I don't know if I'm ever going to get out that way. So I like experiencing places that I haven't been or that I might not get to. I like reading when especially because it's a thriller. So, I like it anyway. And I love Lynn. And I get this like added bonus of having like the Taiwan setting ends up being a character in the book because she does it so well.
That's what's so fun about books. They transport you. Yeah, it's awesome. All right. Thank you for that. We also are excited to have a Killer alumni to celebrate tonight. That's right. Killer Tori Eldridge has a brand new release, Kauai Storm. And it's a poignant, deeply personal story of a native islander who returns home to find her family divided and their land in jeopardy. Missing family members and a mysterious dead body escalate the tension. Tori is giving away 1 copy to U.S. viewers, so let us know if you're interested in winning that.
Yes, and while we're at it, we have 2 more fabulous new releases you'll want to grab. First up is The Safari. When a wealthy family goes on a South African safari, a series of shocking murders rocks their exclusive compound. This unputdownable thriller from the acclaimed author of the main character. And we also have The Boomerang by Robert Bailey. This is a political conspiracy thriller featuring a breakneck road trip from the White House to the dusty plains of rural New Mexico. But its beating heart is a father's story and what a parent will do anything, of course, to save his child. We've got one paperback copy of The Safari and one copy of The Boomerang to give away to U.S. viewers. Comment if you want and tell us where you're from. Good luck.
And don't forget to check out the Killer's latest books. Just look at this gorgeous cover for Kara's upcoming Jill Is Not Happy, a thriller where an ill-fated road trip resurrects a married couple's darkest secrets, out June 10th.
And you know who else is not happy? The main characters in Heather's upcoming thriller, The Perfect Host, when their over-the-top gender reveal party goes off the rails. Another gorgeous cover.
And speaking of gorgeous covers, Kimberly's The Expat Affair is out June 3rd. That's coming up very quickly, about 2 American expats in the deadly world of Amsterdam's diamond industry. Link for all of these coming up in the comments.
That's right. And membership has its privileges, you guys. So if you're on Facebook, check out our private members only group called the Killer Author Club, where every episode the killers choose a name from the hat to win a piece of swag, t-shirts, mugs, candles, totes. We got it all. And all of it can be found at killerauthorclub.com. Tonight's winner is Brittany Borovic Lounder. I hope I said that right. Congrats. Please send one of us killers your address and we will send some swag your way. And would you like to be the next winner? Of course you do. Become a member of the Facebook group and you're automatically entered every other week in the giveaway. Link coming up in the comments. And also a big killer thanks to Book Reporter for sharing the murdery love. Stay up to date on bookish news and events at bookreporter.com.
Yay. And Jamie, we have some good news for you. You have survived the Killer Author Club.
I'm like, oh God, what now?
I know it's pub day. You've been through a lot. You survived. And you made it
I
through.
survived. Hey, it's not finished yet.
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah. Don't get cocky and get carried away. But you survived, and we really appreciate you being here.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak with you. Wonderful authors. I always pre-order all your stuff. I can't wait to read everything. So it's going to be fun.
Well, we loved it.
Like pull your books off my shelves here if you want. We got to sign them. I mean, look at all of these things. It's
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I was like piling on the top now. I have like there's stuff
You've
everywhere.
run out of room.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much, Jamie. And that does it for tonight's episode. So thanks to everyone for tuning in, and join us back here in 2 weeks on June 3rd when we'll have an episode absolutely to die for, because killers Kimberly and Kara will both be our guests, spilling behind the scenes intel about the expat affair and Jill Is Not Happy. And we also have 2 very special guests helping me co-host. So make sure you save the date because you're not going to want to miss this. So in the meantime, find us wasting entirely too much time on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok once in a while. And for Time's upcoming schedule, past episodes, recipes, and merch, surf to killerauthorclub.com. And thank you for being part of the club. Have a great night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
That does it for tonight's show. Thank you for tuning in. If you'd like to catch our next show live, we're every other Tuesday night on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. For Time's upcoming schedule and to catch up on past episodes, visit us at killerauthorclub.com. Happy reading. Now get on out there and kill that TBR.